Okay, right. I get the feeling that before I even read this, I get the feeling that they've um, nerfed weaving, but they've added shit that makes it that lets you buff your like empower, right? Is there more ways to get empower and stuff now? Um, I don't know. But anyway, here we go. Update 35. Patch notes. Let's see what we get going. I know I'm very early. There's not many people here yet, but we'll see. We'll see. There's a lot to get through. Have you seen how long this is? There's a lot going on. There's a lot of changes. So anyway, welcome to the Elder Scrolls Online version 8.1.0 and the Lost Depths DLC. Its DLC continues the legacy of the Breton storyline and introduces 2 new 4-player dungeons for you to explore, along with several new item sets, collectibles, and furnishings to obtain. The dungeons look really cool. They showed them off in the stream yesterday. Dungeons look awesome. The Update 35 base game adds a number of new rewards for the worthy item sets and furnishings, interesting, and you'll also have the opportunity to test the Update 36 prologue quest. As mentioned in the Update 35 combat preview, we have been oh, I didn't read it wrong, it's a typo. Working on improving accessibility to the game's combat by increasing the duration of outgoing ability effects. I thought I had a bad start, but they had a bad start. Please note that in this update we have recompiled many of the game's shaders, which will aid our art team with many of their tasks. But what this means for you is a longer load time the first time you log into Update 35. Oh no! We covered all PCNA characters for this update, which is approximately... Wait, can you not play a PCEU? Can you not play your PCEU character? I've never played the PTS. I literally know nothing about it. I'm really not one for early access stuff. But maybe this one I will give a go because there's a lot going on. Yeah, all NPC characters are just 2.54 GB. I suppose that's all text though, right? It's all just like, this is set to this level, this is set to this level. So 2.5 GB of just text is quite a big text file. So what we got? Table of contents, dungeons, base game, fixes, combat and gameplay. Okay. Right. 2 new dungeons. Earthenroot Enclave. Very cool. Grave and Deep. Very cool. I'm not going to read those out. We've got a lot of reading to do. Both dungeons include a normal version in addition to a challenging veteran version. Oh. Each dungeon features challenging hard modes for each of the 3 boss encounters. What? Each boss has a hard mode? Interesting. There are unique item sets. And 2 new Undaunted Monster Mask sets. Achievements, titles, the usual. Okay, here we go. New item set, straight off the bat. Let's go. Earthenroot Enclave, Stones Accord. It is a light set. You're a unique item set. Got him. Oh. That's actually kind of nice, man. That's a compliment. Maximum Magicka. Healing done. Maximum Magicka. On heal, with an area effect, apply a Minor Berserk and Minor Resolve to healed allies for 4 seconds. If a healed ally already has Minor Berserk or Minor Resolve from Stone's Accord, restore Magicka. So Minor Berserk is damage, Minor Resolve is resistance, right? Area effect heal gives damage and defense for 4 seconds. Isn't that pretty much what Magma Incarnate would do? Okay. By the way, I'm going to be looking at a lot of this stuff from a PvP perspective just because that's what I know the most. I'll try and think about PvE, but you know, whenever I just think about the application of sets or skills, I'm just immediately thinking about how you can do it PvP. It's just the way my brain works. Does Magma Arcana add weapon damage? I thought it was minor... Oh, it's not Berserk, is it? It's Resolve and Courage. Yeah, that's what it is. Which is weapon damage and thing. So minor Berserk is just an extra 5% damage, right? It's not actually weapon damage. Okay. Rage of the Ursauk. It's a medium set. Penetration. Nice. We always need more penetration. Crit chance. When you deal damage with a heavy attack, create a 12-meter area for 12 seconds that grants him power to allies inside it. See, this is immediately what I mentioned. Increasing the damage of the light and heavy attacks by 1,800. Okay, so what would there wasn't that many places you can get Empower. Definitely not for 12 seconds. 12 seconds of Empower. So immediately what they've done is nerfed Weaving, so light attacks are less important. They still are important. But then they've given a set that grants Empower. I wonder if that would be more effective than other sets that people are using already. Interesting. Terrible in PvP again. Like, Empower for PvP in a 12-meter radius. People aren't going to stay in that. Useless for PvP. Deep Root Zeal, the heavy set. Stam, Magicka, health. When you deal direct damage to a taunted target, restore Stamina Magicka. Okay, so a tank sustain set. Fair enough. Hey, Bilbray. Ardent Scrape. Power usually lasts for like 5 seconds. Yeah, and you can only really give it to yourself, right? Kempty. And then the monster set. Yeah, I don't think tanks really suffer much from sustain, really. Do they? I don't know. I'm not much of a tank. Archdruid Devirik. I've been spamming that for like the last 45 minutes, Bilbray. So good. Okay, so monster set, penetration. When you deal damage with a heavy attack, after 1.2 seconds, deal shock damage to up to 6 enemies within a 7-meter cone of your target. Apply a major vulnerability to them for 7 seconds, increasing the damage enemy take by 10%. This effect can occur once every 15 seconds. Damage with a heavy attack. After 1.2 seconds after the heavy attack, it deals shock damage and applies main vulnerability. That's good for PvE. Don't know if that'd be good for PvP. 7-meter cone. It's not terribly useless. Love the set in a bad way. Like we have that one set from Shipwrights for Korea, which does the same on Bash. Yeah, exactly. Okay, Graven Deep. Crit chance. Wait, Grave Inevitability. Ooh. Crit chance, weapon spell damage, crit chance. Dealing damage with a light and heavy attack grants you a stack of Remorselessness for 5 seconds, up to 5 stacks. What it's sets like this, I think, confuse people. Like, look how long that description is. When you have 5 stack, you generate an aura of focus, granting you major force, increasing your crit damage by 20%. While you have an aura of focus, allies within 12 meters of you gain minor force. Oh, okay. Good crit damage set. Phylactery's Grasp. Damage, crit chance. On a light attack, critical damage, you apply Withered Soul, dealing disease damage over 10 seconds. On light attack, critical damage on an enemy with Withered Soul, restores stamina. Every time for over 10 seconds. Withered Soul can occur once every 10 seconds and the damage scales of your heart. Okay. So you hit him with a crit light attack, you get Withered Soul, and every single time you hit him with another crit light attack. I think that could be decent in dungeons, yeah. I think so, I'm with you there. Pangrit's Dead Mother. Healing taken, armor, recovery, stamina. When you block, You and up to 3 group members who told me his game minor courage. Good tank set. Helps the team. Could use that in PvP. I mean, there's so many other ways you can get minor courage these days. That's the one that increases your weapon spell damage, yeah, by 215, yeah. Euphotic Gatekeeper, is that how you say that? Stamina recovery, when you use a roll dodge, I heard about this one. When you use a roll dodge, create a Hadalid Husk after you roll. While within 5 meters of the Hadalid Husk, it will absorb all direct damage against you. After 1 second, the Hadalid Husk explodes, dealing poison damage to enemies within 5 meters. So you can roll, occurs once every 20 seconds. I don't know what to think about that one. It's interesting. Like, you roll and then you can't take any damage for a second and then it explodes. So it's like an extra second worth of iframes, pretty much. If it takes all damage. Well, like, imagine fighting off like 20 people in PvP. Explodes dealing poison damage. How much poison damage does it do? That'd be interesting to know. Once every 20 seconds, though, is the only thing I think would be holding that back. Yeah, an extra 1 second iframe is pretty powerful. That's life and death, that is. New achievements and titles. Cool. New collectibles on dies. Very cool. New furnishings. I know nothing about it. New rewards of the worthy. Here we go. Languor of Periite. Damage. Crit resist. Offensive penetration. You deal 6% increased damage to blocking players. When you deal light attack damage to an enemy that is immune to crowd control, apply Languor for 10 seconds, reducing their magicka recovery and stamina recovery. That sounds cool, but I don't know how often that would be. It's a lot of recovery you take away. 90% of people in PvP aren't blocking anyway. And then the players who are blocking, I think, know enough about the game to not worry about that. 6% increased... Like, 6% increased damage to blocking players. It would be 6% of the damage you do against them blocking, right? Which will be next to nothing because they blocked it. So an extra 6% of nothing is not that much. I would want that to be a higher percentage to even think about running that set. Nocturnal's Ploy. Offensive penetration, crit resist, stamina recovery. When you apply a major debuff to an enemy, remove a major buff with a duration from the target. When you apply a minor debuff to an enemy, remove a minor buff. Oh. That's cool. I like that. 2 hits from Ruinous Scythe make people immune to CC. Wasn't it... Yeah, it will be. Yeah, because the first one sets them off the balance. Does the second one stun them, or you just heavy attack or medium attack and you stun them after setting them off balance? So when you majorly debuff them, one of their major buffs, which major buff will it be though? Is it a random one, or is it... Will it always be like... Like, does it have to be the same buff but opposite, right? Like, if I apply... I don't know. I guess it would just be a random one, right? Or the longest, or the... Yeah, I was going to say, like, if it's just removes one that's only got 1 second left on it, then they were about to reapply it anyway, so... And then once you apply that major debuff, you can't do it again until that runs out, right? Like, if I put, like, Major Defile on them, I'll have to either use a different Major debuff to remove another one from them, or I'll have to wait for the Major Defile to run out. Oh, and it can only both occur once every 2 seconds. Yeah, so you can apply different debuffs every 2 seconds, and it will remove all of their buffs. But you can't apply the same Major debuff every 2 seconds and remove one of their buffs. Like, if I just kept on using the same skill every 2 seconds and reapplying a major debuff, would it remove another major buff? Still counts as applied, it does for buffs, yeah. Like, I'm wondering if, like, let's say they've got 5 major buffs going. Let's say they're wearing Oaken Soul. What happens with Oaken Soul? Wait, the Oaken Soul might have changed. But, yeah, what happens if they've... I know, with a duration. Okay, so it can't do permanent buffs. Okay. Nah, Oaken Soul's not duration. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so what if they've got 5 buffs on, and then I just keep applying Major Breach every 2 seconds? Does it then remove a different major buff? Or do I have to apply a different major debuff for it then to remove a different major buff? Does that make sense? Let's say I'm using Warden with bugs that do Major Breach, and I hit them with it, and it removes a debuff, and then I use it again, and I hit him with it after 2 seconds. Does it remove a different buff? Or do I have to apply a different major debuff to it, then remove a different major buff? That one I want to test. That'd be interesting. Anyway, Mara's Balm. Armor, crit resist. Yeah, because, like, you would still have the debuff on them after 2 seconds, right? So if I just use it again... interesting. Armor, crit resist, healing taken. When a negative effect is removed from you, restore health. When you take damage and have 6 or more negative effects, cleanse all negative effects. Oh. Survivability. The buff duration does go back if you apply a new instance. Yes. Yeah, like, it will reset the major debuff. But I'm wondering if it's like, if you've already got it up, would reapplying it then... That's an interesting set. Because I could just see an instance where I could make a build that just has, like, 2 major debuffs. Or, like, 1 major debuff and 2 minor debuffs. And then I just keep using them over and over again every 2 seconds. Or maybe that's how it's supposed to work. Because a lot of major debuffs don't last that long. So let's say one only lasts 4 seconds. You apply a major debuff to remove a buff, and then 2 seconds later you apply a minor debuff, and then 2 seconds later you apply the major debuff again, because it probably would have run out by then. Maybe. Furnishings. Prologue quest. Template information. We have good news and bad news. Oh no. The good news is we have supplied 2 templates for you to utilize in the PTS update. The usual max level template that has all the things in mid-level template, both of which place you just outside Grave and Deep. The bad news is the names have not been updated yet, so it displays a high R template. Oh no. Is that hard to change? Just the names? Like, they had to put it in the patch notes? They couldn't just quickly change the names? Yeah, just PTS fix it, okay. Combat and gameplay. Known issues. Molten Whip's costs may not properly adjust with some hard-coded bonuses from sets or champion points. Ash Cloudlands morphs are currently consuming resources twice. Oh dear. Cutting Defense is currently not properly proccing. Ancient Knowledge is currently not properly applying the other abilities. Good morning, Volkrin. How you doing? We're going through the patch notes. Fixes to Blackwood. You can now jump to friends and group mates. That's cool. Golden Amber locking mechanism to the addictum is now much easier to interact with. And fix some instances of Death Hopper being incorrectly hyphenated or capitalized. Glad they got that sorted. Antiquities and Greymore had problems. Fixed a number of book titles and object name inconsistencies. Added a number of high owl books to the proper collection category. Did they fix the text errors? Did they fix the armor set that just made them look like they weren't wearing anything? Map completion, voiceover text mismatches, typos. Shrine of Stendar now has proper messaging. Nice. Gonfalon Bay appears correctly. The Flying Horseman of Gonfalon Bay has been located and grounded. There was a Flying Horseman. Those were not DK nerfs. Those were DK fixes. Tales of Tribute problems. Yes. Increase the... Oh. We've been keeping a close eye on Tales of Tribute and specific cards that over or underperform in game. Yeah, I know. Duke of Crows. Increase the gold cost of Scratch. Oh. Grandmaster Lalu. Increase the gold generation from Hireling to 2 gold from 1. Which one was Hireling? Increase the acquire value of Oathman to 6 from 5. Okay. Oh, they increased Armory and they increased Rally. They made them more expensive. Reduce gold generation for C. Yeah, okay. Rewards. I'm not voicing my opinion in patch notes. You can voice your opinion as long as we have a nice civilized discussion. I think most people don't like it. I haven't really got into any changes yet, but we'll see how it goes. Tribute Season Rank Trophy Foundations. Double the gold found in Tribute. Hey, double gold. Tribute reward bags no longer grant potions, poison, soul gems, food. Oh, thank fuck. I hated getting the food. Reduce the chance of receiving alchemy materials. Oh, reduce the chance of receiving furnishing patterns. But I got so many. I suppose that's why. Winning multiple matches for Tribute Daily Quest will now grant a progressively high reward bag. Yay! Good. Excellent. Visuals, UI, good stuff. So many fixes and improvements. Yes, Somerset fixed. Here we go. Combat and gameplay. This is the meat. You like it, Valkyrie? Okay. That's good. We'll see if I like it. I'm probably not going to care either way. It's probably just... probably not going to care either way. Being a PvPer, yes, I'm probably not going to care either way. Right. Light and heavy attacks now deal a flat amount of damage rather than scaling with your highest offensive stat. Melee light attacks deal 2,250 base damage, while ranged light attack. Oh, ranged light attacks deal less damage. Oh, thank God. Get rid of those fucking Inferno staffs that kill me from 50 miles away. Fully charged melee heavy attacks do 2,500 base damage multiplied by their cast time and cooldown, and 10% less for range. For example, two-handed heavy attack take 1.8 seconds between their cast time and cooldown, meaning their damage delta base is 4,500. Okay. So that's less than most people are doing now, right? I think Bo gets screwed over a bit there. But yeah, because I don't think Bo was particularly good at light weaving. I don't know though. Okay. So that's a number. 2,250 for melee range. 10% less for thingy, and then heavy attacks based on 2,500 base damage, and then multiplied by however long it takes to do the heavy attack. Okay. Hey, yeah, Brent still doesn't do anything about weaving though. It just makes everyone have to work even harder. I mean, they said they didn't want to get rid of weaving because it's fun to master. But then, I mean, they've got this problem where people can't weave, so they struggle to do the content. But then, yeah, this doesn't help those people at all. But I think what they were talking about is the idea is they want to bring the ceiling down. So they want to bring the overall damage down. And therefore, the range of players would be much closer. So then they can create content based on the range of damage that's being done. Whereas now, like let's say somebody who's new at doing dungeons or trials and is only hitting like 50k DPS are down here. And then the people doing like 140k are up here. Now they're going to be doing, what? 100, 110, so they're down here now, so there's a closer range between the top and lower players, so then they can cater their content to that. I think that's the idea going forward. People hitting 90k easy without any lights or heavies, yeah. So to minor setback for the high-end players until DPS loss for casual players. They drop the floor, but the ceiling's still there. Hang on, let me get further in. Medium attacks continue to scale between light and... Medium attacks continue to scale between their light and fully charged counterpart. The final hit from Restoration or Lightning Staffs can now be dodged once again, to ensure there is better counterplay for denying an opponent resources. Okay. Resources restored from fully charged heavy attacks have been streamlined to grant an average of approximately 1,350 resources based on their total cast time and cooldown, rather than varying values with no standardization. They didn't want weaving to be necessary, so they brought down the base damage so that they aren't making bosses tuned to the OP weavers. Yes, exactly. Because like they've got to put in a new, let's say they're releasing a new dungeon, they've got to make it hard enough for the people who are weaving expertly, and then they've got to make it easy enough for the people who struggle, you know? Whereas if they reduce the total DPS, that's easier to do. Tanks will be getting a DPS increase though, yes. Two-handed with Volendrong restores stamina. Oh, less stamina? That's sad. Restoration Staff restores less. One-handed shield restores more. Ice and Inferno Staffs. They restore 15 more. Just leave it the same at that point. For fuck's sake. Dual Wield now restores more stamina. Bow now restore. I still think Inferno Staffs are too strong. I think they're too strong. Like, you got insane damage, and like you can do it from afar, and you're fine. You know, you're like, ugh. Hey Bex, yeah, we're going over patch notes. They don't want bad players to learn a mechanic that is making the gap too wide. Well, the problem is that like they want this game as accessible as possible. Like, that's what they're going for. And there's players who physically can't weave because of disabilities and some such. So it's like those players they're trying to cater for. Yeah. I mean, like, there are a large population of people who are just not interested in learning how to weave. Partly, I think, because there's no in-game tutorial, and they don't want to go anywhere else. Like, 90% of players in any game, doesn't matter what it is, they won't go to an outside source to learn how to play the game. That's just not how it works. They're just like, I'll just play it until I get good, or, you know, I'll complain about not being good, or, you know. But, like, then there are the players who honestly struggle because of accessibility options. And it's trying to find the balance between making, like, having a like a learning curve to teach people, because they were talking about in the stream yesterday how it's like it's really satisfying to learn how to do it and get there, But then also to keep the game accessible for people who won't be able to do that learning curve no matter what, you know, whether they're motivated or not. Yeah, they talked about this tutorial in their stream yesterday, and they were like, "There's, I mean, it's easier said than done, I guess, but I mean, we're 8 years in, so just fucking do it." You know, it's like they were talking about how like we got to do a tutorial, and then we have to like proof the tutorial to make sure it doesn't get screwed over if we change anything in the future. And I'm just like, well, you're the people who know that. You're the people who know what's coming in the future. I guess after today, after this update, it should slow down a bit, and then you're the people who know what's going to happen, so then cater your tutorial for that, you know. But then they'll have to hire a voice actor and writers and shit, and then make this whole tutorial, and then they can't really sell it. They'll have to put it in the game for free. So it's probably a hard sell to the top dogs when you're like, hey, can we have funding for this, but we can't sell it? I mean, that's probably what's going on there. They shouldn't be told that they can't go into the dungeon because they can't do the amount of DPS, yeah. Yeah, it's about finding the balance. I mean, like 95% of this game already can be done by anybody. Like, it's super accessible already. Like, literally all we're talking about is some vet dungeons and then vet trials, right, and hard modes. That's literally all we're talking about. But yeah, I don't know. It's finding a balance. Hey, badges. Kind of reminds me of the FPS cab in For Honor. Instead of learning to play the game, some people want to ruin it for everyone. I always think about For Honor. When we talk about accessibility and ESO, I always think about For Honor, because For Honor is not accessible at all. But it never gets brought up. Like nobody ever talks about the accessibility of For Honor. If you don't know For Honor, it's like a medieval fighting game, which is so fucking difficult and has the steepest learning curve. But it's just, yeah, I don't know. I guess like they're not catering in that game to be accessible for everyone, which is kind of sucky. Whereas ESO are, ZeniMax are. But yeah. We are having a calm, collected debate, yes. We're going to have a civilized discussion, Banjos. How many people are we going to have to ban today, do you reckon? Add that too, Hembred. Yes, that too. Okay. Adjusted many bonuses from sets, abilities, and passives to better equate for the changes which are listed under the source areas. Fix an issue where dual-wield medium attacks could deal more damage than the fully charged counterparts. Wow, did that happen? During the Greymore area, we ran a test where we refactored the functionality of light and heavy attacks. While we ended up not implementing these changes due to player feedback, there were many positive notes and remarks we took away from the change list overall. This time around, we are implementing the good parts from the received feedback and avoiding other areas. Overall, we are keeping light attacks in place of the top DPS producing results, albeit at much lesser extent than what we are doing before. Heavy attacks will remain more resource driven, but now also produce significantly less DPS losses than before. The main reason for streamlining these values was to reduce the bloat of damage production they can provide at a high level, reinforcing the tense necessity to perfectly light weave to produce viable damage, while simultaneously retaining their damage levels at low end for those who rely on them to be negatively affected. I'm not following. In doing so, we've also been able to adjust item sets that augment these effects to be much more impactful without concern of creating higher burst potential in PvP environments, helping accessibility in all environments. Okay. We are civilized. You ever see the inputs of Smash? Yeah, but like Smash again can be played casual, or it does have the high end insane skill. It's like getting the game easy to learn but difficult to master. Like that's what they want. That's what they want, right? I guess, but I don't know. Like you can't have a game that's super accessible and everybody can do it, because the people who want a real challenge, like the top end people, aren't going to find it interesting whatsoever. And the problem ESO has is it has this really fun combat system that appeal. I was saying this the other day. It like the combat system appeals to high end PvP or PvE players and like mastering it, but they want to cater to accessibility, so that kind of doesn't fit in. It's like a really fun combat system that people love, but like, of course, ZeniMax wants to take in a different direction, right? Rather than, you know, having a huge steep learning curve on it. Okay. Well, it's good to get a solid number on it. I actually don't know how much my light and heavy attacks do at the moment. Adjusted player damage over time. This is the other one. This is the one that screws PvP over, I think. Abilities will now last 20 seconds in duration, up from 10 seconds. So they've kind of like doubled the duration of everything. Almost all dots now tick on a 2-second frequency rather than 2 seconds if they're a single target or 1 second if they're area of effect. I don't like that. I don't like that. It should be 1 second area of effect. There's going to be no point in putting a dot on the floor if it only ticks every 2 seconds and they can move out of it. Like, it means I'm going to put it on the floor, they're going to get hit by it, and before they can get hit again, they've moved out of it easily. Like 90% of players. I'm talking PvP here, of course. You need a base level to be able to complete the story, then PvP and endgame PvE should need that experience and time. Yeah, like that's exactly it. Like 90% of the game, all the zone stories and everything, you can do naked pretty much without any gear. And like furnishing you can do, crafting you can do, you know, exploration, story. It's like even most of the normal dungeons, it's just they're so easy. Yeah, it's an impossible task though, right? Balancing it. Damage 2 seconds. Yeah. And I was gonna say mobile boss fights. But the point is, they now do 2 times the damage of a normal spammable, such as lava whip or concealed weapon, when they used to do 1.5 times the amount. So they last longer, but if you get every tick over the entire time, then it will overall do more damage. The problem with that is things move, so you're not gonna get it. Since they now take longer to deal with this damage, this will result in approximately 33% overall DPS decrease for dots, while making them more worthwhile in long-term fights. I like the whole point of this, longer lasting dots and AoEs, is this is an accessibility change, because they always talk about actions per minute, and if you have abilities that last longer, then you don't need to do your rotation as, you know, your rotation's easier to manage because things last longer. Therefore, it's easier to do your rotation. I would argue, though, if you've got 33% less damage, what's the point in having an easier rotation if you're still doing less damage than you were when you were bad at your rotation? Like, that's not going to help people. Let's say somebody is struggling with their rotation because they're struggling with the uptimes on skills and stuff, and they can only just about kill a boss. Now their rotation's going to be great and they're going to perfect it, but they're still going to be doing less damage, therefore they can't kill the boss. Right? That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like now they're just going to be better at losing. Like, that's all this sounds like to me, which is very weird. But yeah, the 2-second frequency is bad for PvP as well, because like you stick a dot on somebody, if it does more damage over 20 seconds, but only hits them every 2 seconds and does less damage every 2 seconds, then there's less pressure, because like PvP is all about pressure in a short amount of time, because once you kill them, you know, you can go and move on. So if you've got dots that do less damage during a shorter time but longer damage over a longer time, that's a worse dot, to be honest, for PvP. Who doesn't know the durations over? Well, like, people, again, accessibility. Like, people who struggled to hit that many inputs. Which is why Oakensol was introduced, so they didn't have to keep redoing buffs and stuff. So then they could just focus on their damaging abilities. Because they struggle with the actions per minute. But, yeah. I would be shocked if this helps. I mean, this will help with rotations, but I don't think it's gonna help people complete content they're stuck on. I think they're still gonna be stuck on it. Most costs have been untouched, reducing the overall cost per second of the abilities by half. So sustain's gonna be easier too. Individual notes for affected abilities will be listed under the source skill lines. So I understand how combat works. It's pretty much, yeah, put an AoE down, you stick a dot on them, and then you spam until you need to reapply these. That's pretty much what it is. Or wow, you buff up, you apply your dots and AoEs, you spam until you need to rebuff or reapply your dots and AoEs. But yeah, this is a... I see what they're going for. Like, it's now going to make people more satisfied in upkeeping their rotation. They're going to be better at their rotation. But overall, they're doing less damage, so I don't know. So they're still not going to be able to complete the content they were struggling on because... Like, before they couldn't complete the content because they were struggling with their rotation. Now they're not going to be able to complete their content, even with a good rotation, because they're doing overall less damage. So that's a very strange choice to me. In this update, we're re-evaluating our damage over time standards and cleaning up a lot of power discrepancies between them, which are stagnating diversity of weapon choice in a lot of areas. Overall, we're trying to improve accessibility of damage production in the game, while simultaneously lowering the overall maximum DPS potential when playing super efficiently. As such, we've made damage over time effects easier to keep up, in addition to more obvious winners in terms of damage reduction over a spammable, but now with the added caveat that they take longer to deal with damage. This creates situations where damage over time will have much more clear advantages and disadvantages, making them easier to decide. See, if they then go on to produce content that doesn't require as much DPS, I guess this will be fine. I don't think it's going to help players now. I think this is a setup for the future. Yeah, like this is, cleaning up power discrepancies and making it more accessible to do your rotations. You just use jabs, Badger. Overall damage goes down, so we need every 1k DPS that exists because odd fights probably don't change. Yeah, like none of the content is changing, right? They haven't reduced damage and then reduced, and then made the content easier, right? It's just reduced damage. You can talk about Valkyrie. Are you talking about another streamer? I didn't get a chance to watch anybody yesterday, but yeah, it's I don't know. PvP, it kind of sucks. Zyno was talking about it. I'll have to watch the VOD. I want to see what other streamers think of it. I do think it's a good change. I mean, like, it's going to be way more satisfying for people to have now rotations that they can, just do easier. Until they get to the point where they get in a dungeon and they're doing everything perfectly, but then they still can't complete the dungeon. That's all I'm worried about. Healing over time. HOTS. Just the power of player healing over time abilities in tandem with damage. Single target healing over time abilities now deal 1.5 times the damage of a spammable over the duration, rather than 1.875. Area of effect healing over now deal 2 times the damage. Area of effect healing over time abilities now heal for 2 times the damage of a spammable over the duration, rather than... So they've... made this worse but made this better. That only heals 1.5 times the damage instead of 1.875. And now this heals for 2 times the damage. Why have they made single target healing worse, but area of effect healing better? Almost all of the abilities will tick once every 2 seconds rather than 2 seconds if they were single target and 1 if they're area of effect. That's the one bit I don't like, the 2-second ticks. You don't need to have to work so hard. Yeah, like let's say you have right now you'll have a 10-second AoE and you'll put down the 10 seconds AoE. By the time you've done all the other skills you need to re-put that down, right? So you're constantly just like changing bar, putting down your AoEs, changing bar, doing this, buffing, changing. Now if everything's double the length, there's more time to sort stuff out, you know, and then you don't need to literally constantly just like mashing your keyboard trying to like hit every skill before it all runs out. But yeah. Group healing is already very strong in PvP. Almost all these abilities will now last 10 seconds of duration, while some class skills have been increased to 20 rather than varying durations between 8 and 10. Okay. Hope that... Yeah, we'll do the initial tick cannon, right? Just area heal. Since damage over time has been adjusted in this update, it means we also need to reevaluate some of our healing standards as well to ensure they feel properly balanced against one another. Yeah, I can't help but feel like with this many changes, you can't possibly balance it. Like, you need smaller changes but more often. We can't keep having these big, giant combat changes every 3 months, because you change one thing and then it affects everything else, no matter how. I don't know. What time do you light attack spam balls? Yeah, and it's like you can weave some more heavy attacks in, you do more light attacks, do more spam balls, and therefore, yeah, you don't have to keep like again. It was the point of Oakensoul. Like Oakensoul was like you only have 1 bar and you have all these buffs, so you don't need to worry about your buffs. All you need to do is put down your dots, your AoEs, and then do your spammables. And like that was a great set for accessibility, because it meant people were doing way less in the same time period, so it was like easier to manage. There's like half of this stuff will just be made redundant by the change they made to balance it. Yeah, like I don't get how they can change one skill and then they change something else. So now those two are completely interacting with each other in a very different way now. And it's, I don't know. Yeah, I do think I think there is something in like game development though that's like they can't just keep updating as many times as they want. Hey Janet, how you doing? We're talking about update 35. Target dummies have been adjusted. The Crusher enchant on target dummies to mirror an infused value rather than infused plus towards pack.
Thank you.
Engulfing Flames now matches the proper 6% value. Damon Barr, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Alkosh's Roar now is maximum 6,000 armor reduction. I don't know what any of this means. However, I've never done a pass in my life. Empower. This buff now increases light and heavy attack damage by 1,800. So they've made Empower just do a solid amount. And now there's a set that will give you Empower. Interesting. You tired, Janet? Me too. I'm very warm. I'm boiling. It's very warm in the UK right now, and I'm in an attic, melting. They're trying to make it so people can actually do stuff instead of ending up in a group and getting killed because you don't do X amount of DPS. Exactly. Yes. They're trying to lower the ceiling, so therefore they can create content at an easier level for everyone, rather than having to make it for people doing 140k DPS down to people who are doing like 50k, you know. The update seems kind of bad. There's a couple of worrying changes. There is. Does this update mean Janet can kill Kylo even easier PvP? Hey! I almost melted Janet with a meteor on Friday. I was so excited I almost got you, Janet. But it didn't quite happen. Until we zerged you down in the tower. And then I got you, but... Okay, right, here we go. Class changes. Fiery Breath. Increase the duration of its ability and its morphs to 20 seconds, up from 10. Reduce the damage per tick by approximately 17%. Lasts longer. Does less damage. It's not going to please everyone. No. No, it's not. It does feel like this is a giant change that's just going to set up for future changes. I don't think this is supposed to please anybody. Like, this, they talk about accessibility and stuff, but none of this is really going to help with that yet. But I think it sets it up so they can help with accessibility further down the line. I think that's what. We all know it's only fun. No, Janet, it's super serious. PvP is life or death. That's how some people see it. Fiery change, empowering change. This gave you empower, didn't it? Increase the duration of empower granted from this morph to 10 seconds. Wow, okay. That's over triple the amount of empowerment. It looks like they're nerfing weaving, but increasing in power. Oh, Molten Whip. This morph now causes the ability to split the cost to half stamina, half magicka. They can do that? Does any other skill do that? Reduce the stacking damage bonus to... Oh. Get nerfed. Did you have a stream sniper, Janet? Uh-oh. Did they ruin it? Yeah, nobody uses that morph here, right? I don't think I've ever seen that. And they decided to put it on Molten Whip. That's a weird one, that is. Well, okay. Are they trying to make Dragonite like the super hybrid? Like, I mean, hybrid changes did come in, but like Dragonite seems to be the one that's like hybrid everything. It's their game; they do what they want. Yeah, but like coding-wise, how did they figure that out? Increase the weapon spell damage per stack up to 100 from 75. Okay, weapon spell damage portion of Seething Fury is no longer consumed when using Molten Whip. To help this ability become more available to hybrid builds, got it! We've opted to take a very unique route with the ability where the cost is now split evenly between magicka and stamina. In doing so, we hope to see more unique interactions with the skill, as well as aiding more stamina-focused Dragonites in sustaining the skill. Well, there you go. Hybrid! 5 DC ganker, then they hate message me because... Oh my god. Yeah, I'm glad you killed them, Janet. Fuck them. They wanted. Searing Heat. Reduce the damage done. Bonus from this passive to 25. Okay, reduce damage. Searing Strike. Increase the duration of this ability for 20 seconds on Searing Strike. If this is the one that heals you, right? Is Searing Strike the one that heals you? Reduce the damage... I don't know much about Magic Dragonite. Oh no, it's a Burning Embers. Increase the amount of healing this morph allows up to up to 100% of the damage caused, up from 50. More heals. Previous reduction was made to stop a... The previous reduction was made as a stopgap before this pass could be completed. Now that the ability deals less damage per tick, we feel comfortable bumping it back up. Okay. That intention is not met on the PTS. If you barely can do vet content, you won't be able to do it in the upcoming patches. So changes hurt lower tier to mid tier players much more than perfectly organized groups. Not only that, but the new dummy on the PTS buffs your damage. I was saying the exact same thing earlier. Damon. Yeah, it's like that. Like I was saying it with the duration changes. Like now, how most AOE's and dots will do double the. They'll last longer, so it's easier to do your rotation. So now players who can't, let's say somebody can't do a dungeon, they're now going to have a better rotation, and they're going to do their rotation better, and it's going to feel better, but their overall damage is reduced, so they're still not going to be able to do the dungeon, whether they've got a good rotation now or not. So yeah, it is a bit strange, unless they are going to be changing some of the dungeons to make it more accessible. We'll see what they come up with. I don't know. It seems weird now, but it also does seem like they're setting up for future changes. I hope. This morph now increases damage done per tick by 9 to 12%, down from... Wow! It now stacks up for longer. Okay, so it lasts longer, but... Oh, I suppose it works out the same, but again, it lasts longer, so... That was very good for PvP, but... Now if it lasts longer, I don't know. It does mean that you gotta put Venomous Claw on when it's gonna last 20 seconds now. The fight's gonna be over before you have to reapply it. You're just gonna have to use it once, and then that's it. Don't adjust the dungeons up to 1%. Leave that for veteran trials. Yeah, I don't think many people are happy, are they? Anyway, Dark Talons. Reduce the cost of this ability and the Burning Talons morph. Okay. To help them be slightly more accessible in usability and to better account for the fact that immobilized may fail in many cases. Fair enough. Inhale. Reduce the cost of this ability and its morphs. Originally, this was higher in cost to account for the fact that the initial hit damage and healed, but since these values are each half of the area effect based attacks, it wasn't getting additional ability functionality. Hey, Melon! Kitsune! What up, Kitsune? Thank you for the 4 months. Welcome back into brother. Shall we begin? Have I only known you 4 months? It feels like twice that. I'm in my half trimester, and it's yours? Sorry, I gotta go. Wait, oh, what? Thank you, Kitsune. Thank you for the support. How you doing today? I hope you're doing good. Thank you for chatting on Melon. I think it's just you, Volcron. Just you. No, I'm kidding. I don't think it's really gonna affect me very much. Does this do better? Increase the duration of the snare and immobilization immunity to 4 seconds up from 2. Thank God. I loved Protective Scale. I thought it was a awesome skill, but it was shit. Like, it was fun, but it sucked. So I'm glad it's better. Probably still would use Race Against Time instead of Protective Plate. I don't know. Spirit's morphs now deal flame damage rather than magic damage. And volatile armor. Increase the duration from up to 20 seconds. There's gonna be fucking no need for sustain anymore, right? Everything's lasting longer, but it's gonna cost the same. Which means you're gonna have to use half the skills, which means you're gonna have resources left over. Which means you can spec more into damage or more into survivability, I guess. I don't think there's any fucking reason to run a 5-piece resource set. Like, any sustain set, I don't think you need it. I never do when the PTS comes out? No, I never will. I never even play the PTS Valkyrie. I know. Everyone loses their mind. We need more sustain, more spam balls because of your dots. No, but you can have way more heavy attacks now. Way more. And a lot of them, they increase the resources you get back from heavy attacks. Maybe it'll balance out just the same then. He uses heavy attacks. Are you not using heavy attacks? I'm talking about PvP, guy. Is the meta setup is lowest mag and lowest stam? Be make up for longer duration by doing more spammables, which is your highest source of damage. Yeah. We'll have to test it. Sustain set. Sus. Very sustain. Ash Cloud. Its abilities buffs now last double. Ticks are changed. Yeah. More weapons. That lasts 60 seconds now? Holy shit. 45 was already a long time. Jesus. Modern armaments. This morph now grants the caster in power. For the duration? So it will last 45 seconds. Yeah, Igneous with that morph lasts 60 seconds. And then this morph will still last 45, but it grants you in power for 45 seconds. Is that what that's saying? Hey, Alzoa, what's up? We have not got to Templar yet, no. No, we're just starting Necromancer. What is your class, Volcarin? Modern armaments is 30. It's a long time for Empower. It's a long time. Petrify. Spears morphs now do flame damage rather than magic damage. Nice. How you doing, Elza? Right, I know nothing about Necromancer. Boneyard. This ability and its morphs now take every 2 seconds. We knew that was coming. For 20 seconds, increase the damage per tick by 21%. Fixed an issue where this ability's bonus visual effects were consuming corpse would fail to play. Death Knell. This passive now increases your crit chance by 4/8%. More crit chance. Rapid Rot. This passive now increases your damage done with damage over time effects. Oh. Less damage done with damage over time effects. Oh. It's a shocking siphon. This ability and its morphs now take every 0.666, the number of the beast, over 20 seconds rather than every. Okay. Increase the damage per tick. I mean, every AoE is lasting longer now. Like every single one. See, I don't know much about Hungry Scythe. The heal over time from this morph now lasts 10 seconds and ticks every 2 seconds rather than 5. See, so it's going to tick the same amount, but it's going to take longer to do so. Increase the heal over time to 6.198% of your max health. They quadrupled the heal over time. Sorry, tripled the heal over time. Interesting. I still think healing's going to be too strong. Anyway. Civilian is morph's minor maim now lasts 10 seconds. Doubled the time. Increase the duration of minor maim to 15 seconds. Doubled the time. Oh my god. It's almost like doubling it was too much. Like it's too much. Skeletal Archer was big. Necrotank is even easier to sustain, yeah. Empowering Grasp. Increase the duration of your Empower. Doubles the duration. The Empower for pets now increases their damage and healing potency by a flat 1,000 rather than 40%. Power can now target blast bones as well. Restoring Tether. This ability and its morphs now take every 2/3 of a second, down from every third. Speed and morphs now take every 0.666 seconds, down from, so it takes twice as long to tick, but you get 81% increased healing. That's the one where it like tethers to a body on the floor, right? Is this the one I'm thinking of? Restoring tether and it heals you? That's all it does, and you got to stay close to the body. It is. It's a big heal. It's a real big heal. Reduce the healing. Wait, Spirit Mana. Reduce the healing per ticket disability. Oh, Spirit Mana was super strong. 48%. Get wrecked. Fix an issue where this ability's morphs could sometimes lose a tick of healing when cast. Fix an issue where the transferred damage from this morph was not applying to the Guardian's health, circumventing the risk of the ability ending early in situations you are taking a significant amount of damage over duration. You now die after absorbing 3,000 total damage. Well, Necro's kind of had some of its healing switched around, I think. Does it give resources back as well? Yeah, Necro's got a ton of healing. Spirit just didn't have any HP. Yeah. Alright, Nightblade, here we go. I don't know much about Nightblade either, but... Oh, it's very warm in this attic. Okay, Assassin's Blade, Killer's Blade. This morph now causes the execute scaling to change to a linear increase of up to 400% damage done to targets under 50% health, rather than the static 300% damage to targets below 25% health. So that is a straight up buff. 400 damage to people under 50% health instead of 300 damage to people under 25. So it does an extra 100% damage and you can do it earlier. The heal from this morph now scales off your highest offensive stat rather than max health. That would give it a buff as well, right? Your highest offensive stat. Not many Nightblades have big max health. Hey Jen, how you doing? Good morning. Hey Froggy, how's it going? So Killer's Blade, big pog. Blur, there's a bit like Nightblades needed a buff. And this ability in this morph now reduce the cost of your next roll dodge by 10%, rather than whenever you take direct damage, stacking up to a maximum of 100%. So ability in this morphs now reduce the cost of your roll dodge. Okay. Reduce the duration of this ability and its morphs. What did it do before? So many... Oh god, and Nightblade is getting a buff. Its ability in its morphs now once again cost 2,700 mana. Oh, mark target costs again. Oh. Its ability will now heal you to full health when a marked enemy dies to sweeten the risk-reward gameplay. This heal ignores Battle Spirit, but does not ignore other healing reductions or bonuses. Reaper's Mark, the morph, increases the duration of Major Berserk, granted to 10 seconds up from 5. Since the morph no longer increases healing done, that would be unnecessary. Oh, just 10 seconds of Major Berserk. Why fucking not? Just for... You can put this on when you're in stealth as well, right? Jesus. Yeah, I don't know why this one got reduced duration. This is the one you just hide in stealth and you put it on a target and then they can see it so they know you're there, right? So help PvP Magblade. I'm just thinking of goddamn gankers. They don't want a stealth thing as a Nightblade. So they just... Okay. Okay, I don't like stealth, that's true. Teleport Strike. Increase the duration of the damage over time to 20 seconds. Yeah, reduce the damage per tick. 23%. Aspect of Terror. This ability and its morphs now apply Major Cowardice to enemies hit for 10 seconds. Increased the target cap of this ability to 6 from 3, so you can hit twice as many people. Major Cowardice. This morph now removes a target cap for the ability. Manifestation of Terror. This morph is no longer fires 2 traps and instead fires 1 trap at your targeted location as well as allowing you to effectively double the target cap and step on the morph distinction of mass hysteria. Reduce the duration of the trap to 20 seconds, down from 1 minute. Reduce the duration of the fear to match the base ability. Reduce the cost of the morph. This morph no longer summons a pet for a brief second to fear the target, now instead immediately fears the target to reduce situations where it could fail to go off. Sounds like Nightblades are going to be strong in PvP. The ability on its morphs now lasts Path of Darkness. Double the duration again. Only ticks every 2 seconds though, instead of 1. Reduce the damage. Reduce the healing. Same as every other area, okay. Dark Cloak. This morph now heals you for 17 to 20% of your missing health per tick, rather than 9.2% of your max health. Hang on, my brain. Heals you for, let's say, 20% of your 30k health. Or your missing 30k health. Per tick? It's like a dragon's blood that ticks every 2 seconds. What? So if you use that when you're almost dead, and let's say it recovers 20% of your health, and 2 seconds later it recovers another load of health. Civilized discussion, Ganon. Summon Shade. Ability and his morphs now last 20 seconds. Again, lasts longer. Increase the damage per hit of Summon Shade. I don't get why they're increasing the duration of everything, but some they're reducing the damage and some they're increasing the damage. I don't get it. I don't get why. Reduce the cost of this ability and the Dark Shade morph. Reduce the damage per hit of the morph. Wait, what? Okay. Reduce the cost of this morph. Okay. Surprise attack. This morph now was... Dark Cloak is the morph of stealth that doesn't make you invisible, right? So it's just going to heal you instead. And then Shadow Cloak is the one that makes you go invisible. They're making most things longer, but then nerfing the damage. Well, they're going to do... Most things are going to last longer. So over the full duration, they're going to do more damage. But if you can only hit them for a short amount of time, it's going to be less damage. Because each tick is going to be less. But over double the duration, it works out more. Surprise attack critting every fucking time if you're behind somebody. Is that not ridiculous? But you get a crit coming out of stealth as well, right? So do you crit with a heavy attack coming out of stealth and then immediately into a critical surprise attack? Concealed weapon. This morph now passively grants minor expedition while slotted, instead of increasing your movement speed by 25% while in sneak or invisible. This morph now also increases your weapon and spell damage up to 300 for 15 seconds. And you're gonna have more spell damage. Fucking hell. Oh, gank blades are gonna be a nightmare. John, watching your brain melt even more. I don't think gank blades needed that. Currently, the Nightblade's melee spammable options are a bit behind other melee spammables in terms of both flavor and impact, so we're adjusting both morphs to give some love. Surprise Attack's morph option reinforces the need for positioning as an assassin and continues to add some minor damage with the Sundered proc, while Concealed Weapon retains its stealthy and agile emphasis with less restrictions and more... This is a PvE change that's gonna screw over PvP. That's what this is, right? This is a PvE change for a Nightblade spammable, because you know they don't have a Templar jabs, or they don't have a fucking anything else. So you can stand behind a boss and crit every time. But you can also stand behind a player and crit every fucking time. Oh god, I don't like that. They didn't need him, I'm enjoying the heck out of it. How did Nightblade get so many buffs? Surprise Attack is usually... Yeah, I mean, like, that's the problem. Like, their PvE spammable doesn't line up with other PvE spammables. So they've increased Surprise Attack. But Surprise Attack is already really strong in PvP, even if it's not strong in PvE. What is a Gilliam? You're not going to sneak or invisible in trials? This is PvE, like, you know, none of this is... I mean, this is leaving sneak or invisibility, but now this just gives you a buff all the time instead of sneak or invisible, and this just lets you crit while being behind somebody. Every time. So, this is the only change. Why did they add this? I don't get that. That's very weird. That won't help PvE because, yeah, when do you ever go invis in PvE? But then it just sucks for PvP. He's on the comment. Oh, you blaming one dev for liking Nightblade and making Nightblade stronger? Okay. Cripple. This ability and its morphs now last 20 seconds and reduce the damage per tick. Same as all of them. This morph now also reduces the cost of the ability. Okay, so, you know. Like, the only nerfs Nightblade is getting is the ones that everyone's getting. Or, like, the, you know, the changes to the AoE length. Healthy Offering. Increase the duration of minor mending to 10 seconds up from 8. Okay. So, Nightblade is very good. Nightblade is going to be loving it this patch, I think. We got some happy Nightblade players. It is hard to play. But again, it's finding that balance. Like, Nightblade, I would argue... I think Necromancer is the hardest class. And then Nightblade is second hardest. But the good Nightblades are an absolute scourge. The good Gangblades in Cyrodiil. Did you see... Like, I was just sat in Cyrodiil the other day. Well, it was a couple of weeks ago now. And I was just sat there looking at a keep, and Maik, the Nightblade Khajiit, literally just flattened me in half a second before I could even react. Did anybody see that? And it's like, I was like taking a drink or something, but it's like I didn't even have the chance to like break free or dodge roll or anything. I was just dead. And it's like half a second I went from like full health, you know, like 30k resistance, 30k health, Templar PvP build. 100% to 0 health in half a second. I think Necro's hard because it relies a lot on sacrificing, like, or using bodies, you know. You gotta, like, it's another thing to pay attention to, of, like, when your, like, summon will die, and then you can use your skill, use your the body of that to use a skill, which is, like, not something that anybody else has to worry about. Again, I'm talking about PvP. I said at the start, I'll say it again, I'm PvPer. I'm a PvPer. Whenever I look at changes, the first thing comes into my head is how it can be used in PvP, and then PvE will be an afterthought. So I don't know as much about PvE. So yeah, this is mainly going to be a focus on PvP activities. I had to set up a Nightblade though, clearly. I do both. I do enjoy PvE. I just haven't really delved into it as much. You know, I've got 6,000-7,000 hours of PvP and probably only like 1,000 in PvE. So, but yeah. Rise Sorcerer. Oh, Crystal Weapon. Reduce the damage of this ability by 41.5%. It now does 130% of range spammable attacks. Wait, hang on, wait. No, why? Reduce the damage of this ability by 41.5%. So it now does 130% of a ranged spammable. Is that because of ranged crystal weapon users? Yeah, what's the Stam Sword gonna use now for damage? That's screwed. One of my favorite classes, a melee close range Stam Sword. Jeez. In the previous update, we wanted to help reinforce the uniqueness of this morph by giving sorcerers the ability to change their rotation by having a spammable but that persists through other ability activates. While we succeeded in this, not adjusting the damage of the morph caused it to spiral out of control in terms of raw DPS and burst potential. After spending a lot of time in testing, we believe we've hit the sweet spot where the morph brings something unique and powerful. I think Stam Swords are fucked just with that one change. Who cares about the reduced cost? Nobody thought about making it different. Yeah, right? Like, God. I've been saying this for years. Melee characters are fucked. Like, they're so weak compared to a ranged character. Because not only, like, a ranged character, let's say somebody with a fucking Inferno staff, all they have to do is line up their cursor, and then they can hit you from fucking 50 feet away. But a melee character has to, like, run through those attacks to not only get their cursor on the enemy, but also be close enough to deal with the attack. There's a whole nother axis that they've got to fucking make sure they line up to even be able to get any damage in. It's riskier being that closer, especially when you're, like, fighting in big fights. Oh, man. They were good in PvE, Melon, that's true. PvP Stam Sword is fucked with that change. Daedric Mind. Fixed initial awareness ability and its morphs could detonate instantly on a target multiple times. There is now a short cooldown window where the target cannot be targeted again from the mines to prevent moments of immense instantaneous burst. This also means your mines will no longer detonate without dealing any damage to your target, vastly improving the viability of this weapon. Okay. Do people use mines in PvE? Don't shoot DC the whites of their eyes. Oh, man. Silk and Necros up to 120, 130 on average in every single pass I got my trial guild. They're too strong compared to other classes laying around. Yeah, I understand. Again, like, that's another change, that it's a PvE change that PvP just kind of got screwed with. Hey, Cats, you're not a fan? I think you're in the vast majority, to be honest. Dark Exchange. The ability and its morphs now restore the resources in increments of 2 seconds over duration. Reduce the healing of these abilities. Oh, by 90? Okay. Dark Aversion. This morph now increases the amount of healing and resources restored, rather than reducing the cost. As a result, the cost is now 3,240. It now heals up to 10,000 meter. Okay, I don't care. Dark Deal is the one I want. Increase the cost of this morph. This morph now also causes a secondary resource to return over 10 seconds. Wait, what? Increase the cost of this morph. This morph now all causes the secondary resources. What's it talking about? Dark Deal is you just use magic only to get stamina back, right? And health. Oh! Okay. Okay. I don't know how I feel about Sork. don't know how I feel about PvP Stamp Sork now. Bound Armor. Oh no, what'd they do? It's a billion. The Bound Aegis morph now also grant minor protection for 10 seconds after casting. Okay. Bound Aegis. This morph now extends the duration of the effects as well. The block mitigation now lasts 5 seconds and the minor protection now lasts 20 seconds. Bound Armors. Reduce the damage per hit of this ability. Why are there such large numbers? No longer passively increasing your light attack. Fair enough. That's what we were going for. 38%? What are you supposed to do as a sock? What are you supposed to do now? Oh my god. We're bringing this morph down to match a lot of the hybrid adjustments that the class has received. It was originally intended to help give stamina sorcerers a powerful option of a DPS skill, since they couldn't use any other shiny abilities, such as Haunting Curse or Crystal Fragments. Now that those can be properly utilized on any build, this ability was enabling too much power. I'm not sure I want to use Crystal Frag on my Stamp Sork. It just feels weird. It gives you minor protection now. I don't know about Sork anymore. My god. Empowered Ward. This is morph now. Also grants you and allies minor endurance. How very nice. Storm Atronach. Reduce the duration of this ultimate. The base cost has been increased. Reduce the cost back down to 200 when at rank 4. Okay. The synergy, Charged Lightning, now goes to the Synergizer and 5 nearby allies in a 12-meter radius, rather than the Synergizer in Atronach itself. Okay. Greatest Storm Atronach. This morph now increases the damage of Atronach's single target attack by 30% rather than increase the duration of the summon. The Atronach from this morph now only uses the area effect attack rather than the mixture of... That's a bit... okay. Someone is currently persisting for too long in creating scenarios where certain builds can get multiples of these impactful pets out, and producing significantly more damage than any other ultimate in the game in relation to its cost. With the reduced duration, is now much more reined in, while bringing the group utility with the improved synergy granted. Additionally, we've reinforced the distinction of the more... Blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's a bit weird. I don't even know anymore. Short duration and faster attacks. Yeah. And increased cost until you get it to level 4. Familiar. Increase the duration of the special ability from this ability and summon volatile familiar to 20 seconds from 10. Reduce the damage. That's same as everything else in the game. Volatile familiar. This morph now stuns on the 4th and final tick's ability rather than only the final one. Okay, it stuns on 2 of them. People were getting multiple ads. Were they really? I did not see that. Okay, that kind of makes sense then. Ripple sucks to just spam pets. Good, get rid of them. I can't stand a single fucking Twilight in my face anymore. Flapping their wings in my screen. Jesus Christ. Twilight! Reduce the damage per hit. Yay! Reduce the cost. Increase the bonus damage to targets. Lightning Bolt. Oh no. This ability, this morphs now tick every 2 seconds. Okay, yeah, that's normal. Increase the damage per tick by 100%. This morph, Hurricane, this is one. This morph now increases in damage by 12% per tick, up from 8%, along with the frequency adjustment. It ticks every 2 seconds now. I'm so confused. Like, why does this one increase the damage every tick? They just think it wasn't good enough? Most AoEs... It's not lasting any longer though. That's the... Okay, that's... It's still gonna last the same amount of time. But it only ticks every 2 seconds. Okay. How long does Hurricane last? 15 seconds or something? It's gonna stay at 15 seconds. But it's only gonna tick every 2 seconds instead of 1. But it's gonna do double the damage. Its morph now increases in damage by 12% per tick, up from 8. Along with the frequency adjustment, this will reduce the total max. So it's getting a nerf of 40% over the total amount. Is it 20 seconds? Really? I see Templar. They're doing this right before Mayhem. Oh, great. I won't be playing Sork during the PvP event. So that does less damage. Crystal Weapon does less damage. Bound Armaments does less damage. Lightning Splash. This ability in this morphs now deal damage every 2 seconds over 20 rather than 1 second every 10. Increase the damage. See, I don't get how some I guess they saw it and thought it wasn't doing enough, so they just increased the damage per tick, whereas a lot of other AoEs are getting reduced damage per tick. They're making Crystal Weapon worse, but making Hurricane deal more damage, so get all close as possible. Well, no, I think it's doing... I don't get how it's now doing less. I guess it's ticking less. This confuses me. I don't know, this does confuse me. How does it... So it only ticks half as much. It lasts 20 seconds. So it's only going to tick 10 times instead of 20 times. But it's doing double damage. So, you know, ticks half as much, but does double damage. So that's the same amount of damage. But then increase the damage by 12%, but it does less overall. Is this a typo or something? Or am I... I'm confused. How can it do... Is the duration changing? They just haven't said. Slow down, slow down. I know you want Templar. So, 20 seconds. Let's say over 20 seconds. It was ticking every 1 second. Let's say it was doing 20k damage just to make it easy. So, it now only ticks every 2 seconds, but it does an extra 100%, so it's still going to do 20k damage. Then they increased... This morph now increases in damage per 12% per tick. Up from 8, so it's doing 4% extra per tick. Oh, along with the frequency adjustment. So it is going to last longer? Oh, is 20 seconds the new length? Was it 15 and now it's 20? Which is why it's a 40% decrease overall. I guess. I don't know. Let's go to Templar. Anyway, Templar. Burning Light. This passive now triggers after dealing damage with any attack rather than only Adric Spear abilities. Which one was Burning Light? Increase the cooldown of stack generation to 500 ms. And from 1 ms. Burning Light was the one that did damage with every time you hit with a Burning Light. When you do damage with an Adric Spear ability... Yeah, so your jabs would deal an extra magic damage because they hit 4 times in succession anyway. So now... Dealing damage with any attack, including like weapon skills. Okay, that's a bit of a buff, right? But it reduces the damage of the proc by 30. Okay. So it's going to happen more often, but it's going to do less damage. Currently, this passive is strong, arming the Templar into only using punching strikes as your spammable ability, removing a lot of the potential for other abilities to center around different gameplay. While maintaining the original identity of keeping up the pressure against your primary target, we've removed the restrictions of damage source completely and added a longer cooldown window to reduce burst potential and message spam on the server. Helping the passive stabilize to a more expected... It's all the passives making the lag, right? Okay. Puncture and strikes. Don't do it. This ability and its morphs now hit 3 times over a channel time of 800 ms rather than 4 times over a second. Jabs? Only hits 3 times? There's a new animation for jabs? Oh no, what does it look like? Has anybody seen it? Reduce the cost of this ability and the puncture and sweeps morph. Okay, so it costs less. Why? Does it look like an actual... Does it look good? Reduce the overall damage of the primary attack by 21% since this ability no longer incurs a DPS loss while weaving with the 1 second global cooldown window. Increase the damage of the area effect hits by approximately 7%. Reduce the duration. Why did they make so many changes to puncturing sweeps when they were just talking about how it's all you can use is puncturing sweeps? I don't get how that leads into that. I don't know why. Like, they've tried to make this more viable, but then they were just like, oh, you're strong-armed into using it. That's so weird to me. I don't know. So weird. Hey, Lutz. Puncture suit. Reduce the healing. Oh. That's the magical one, right? Fix an issue where this morph was only healing up to 5 times in large target count encounters, instead of the intended 6 times. Oh no. Wait, it's only going to hit 3 times now. Is it just like 1, 2, 3 jab? Is that literally just all it is now? Oh, I'm getting to miss the 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope that doesn't... I'm not sure I like that. This morph now also increases the damage of the area effect portion of the attack by 25%, in addition to the base 7%. Okay. Also increases, as well as giving you the buffs to brutality and The other one it gives you, right? It is the most powerful spam ball, which is why they want to do it, but the issue we're struggling is it is our only good thing. But apparently now, because of Burning Light, you're going to be able to use other good things. Supposedly. Supposedly. I think they fucked up with Oakenstar, and this is what they have to do instead of admitting it's broken. Oh, hang on, we're not at Oakenstar yet. Civilian is morphs now deal damage over every 2 seconds. Yeah, same. And increase the damage per tick. I don't understand. They were talking earlier how they're going to make it longer but reduce the damage per tick. But longer it would be more. Well, I don't get it. I'm confused. Oh, God. Okay. Reduce damage per second, but increase damage per tick. Is that what I'm getting confused with? Deals damage every 2 seconds over 20 seconds. Yes. Okay, you're right. You're right. I'm getting confused. Sorry, I've been looking at the screen too long. Backlash. No change to Power of the Light. Interesting. The morph's heal now ticks every 2 seconds. And reduce the healing per tick. So what do you do with Power of the Light then? Oh, is it just because that one had a heal? Power of the Light doesn't have a heal. Okay. Increase the duration. They really want to go for Empower, right? Dark Flare gives you 5 seconds. Wait, the Dragonite one gave you 10 seconds up from 3, right? This only gives you 5 seconds up from 3? That's a bit unfair. Solar Barrage. This morph now lasts 20 seconds. Reduces damage. Blah, 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 blah. Ability Sunfire. Yeah, okay. Cleansing Ritual. This ability and its morphs now last 20 seconds. Up from 12. These abilities now take 1 extra time over duration. Reduce the healing per tick of this ability by 3%. Okay. Hasty Prayer. Increase the duration of minor expedition. Congrats, everybody. Does damage in heal? Why not heal so much? Yeah. Why bother the 3%? It does make me wonder how some of these changes are like 41% decrease and others are like 3. Like, what? Why bother with that at this point? Okay. Restoring Aura. This ability and the Radiant Aura Morph now grant minor endurance, fortitude, and intellect, rather than applying minor Magica Steel. Okay. Exchange of duration. Right, Warden. So far, Nightblade's the biggest winner. Sork's the biggest loser. Templar. I think I'm gonna have to see how that jabs looks. Right, Warden. This passive now increases your armor penetration rather than damage done. Oh no, I really like the damage done. No. 990 penetration instead of 2% damage done. That's a nerf, isn't it? Our pen's good in trials. Ew, who cares? Cutting Dive. This morph now triples the status effect proc chance of the attack and causes the ability cost to be refunded when hitting an off-balance enemy. No! They took away the bleed? This morph now increases your weapon and spell damage by 100 for 10 seconds after hitting an enemy. And it increases by an additional 200 when hitting an off-balance enemy. Oh god. No, I still think it is a nerf cannon. Like, I would rather have 2% damage done against a trial boss than an extra 990 penetration, right? Like, I'm going to be getting more with 2% damage done, I think. Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to go over the numbers. We're going back and adjusting the morph distinction of these abilities by helping them focus on different areas where we feel the Warden can struggle. With the other damage over time adjustments, Cutting Dive was creating situations where there was no answer to deal with the ramping bleed, and the synergy with bleed sets was enabling specialized builds to bleed over the top. Instead, we've reinforced the focus on sustain versus overall pressure with the new morphs, where Cutting Dives... There's very little mention of PvP set scenarios in any of these things, you know. Pen means easy to get to your penetration cap. Yeah, but penetration is just reducing their armor, pretty much, right? So, would you rather reduce their armor by 990, or have an extra 2% damage that just ignores their armor completely? I don't know. Gonna disagree with you on that one. Anyway. Falcon Swiftness. This ability's morphs now also grant 4 seconds of snare and immobilization immunity. That's what they did to the Dragonite one as well. Scotch. This ability in its morphs now lasts for 10 seconds in total. Detonating once every 4 seconds. Wait, detonating once after 4 seconds and again after 6 seconds after that. Oh, Jesus. Reduce the damage. Get wrecked. Increase the cost. Get wrecked. Sub Assault. This morph now reduces the time it takes for each damage event to occur, causing the damage to occur after 3 and 5 seconds. Damn! Pop, pop. Pop, pop. Damage is better on low armor enemies for sure. Well, I just thought there's easier ways to get penetration anyway. You know? You're going to be maxing out your pen as a Warden DPS anyway, so the extra damage would have been better. Again, I know nothing about PvE. Ignore me. Sub Assault's stronger though. Okay. Oh, well, it reduces the damage over 8% though. I have 18k. I suppose unless you're going for the 0.5%, it's not going to matter either way, is it? If you're going for like the absolute top percentage you could possibly get. God, I'm boiling. So Billion is morphs now lasts for 20 seconds. Decrease the damage. Oh, the bear! The bear from Missile Man morphs now attacks once every 2 seconds instead of a mixture of timers. Reduce the damage of the bear's passive attack. No! Why would you nerf the bear? Increase the cooldown of the crushing swipe attack to 8 seconds, up from 5. So it better lines up with CC immunity timers so this attack can stun enemies. The active ability Guardian's Wrath now has 700 MS cast time for the bear, not your own cast, so that it properly matches up with the attack animation and reduces the desync potential of the attack. Feral Guardian, this morph now quintuples the status chance application of hemorrhaging. Damn, increasing the guarantee in the effect. Instead of guaranteeing the effect to reduce the ease. Okay, whatever. Healing Seed, Budding Seed, increase the healing per tick. Congratulations to Budding Seed. Nature's Grasp, reduce the healing per tick. Thumbs down for Nature's Grasp. Arctic Wind, the ability and the Polar Wind morph now no longer do damage over duration. The healing over time effects now tick. Increased the healing per tick. So it's just a better heal, but it does no damage. Polar Wind. This morph now causes the initial heal and heal over time to target an additional ally. Who cares about allies? Increasing the healing over time by 20%. This morph now causes the initial heal to scale with your highest defensive stats rather than max health. This morph now causes the heal over time to be converted to damage over time. No longer ranks up in cost reduction. This morph now stuns on the second and final tick. Interesting. Removing damage from Warden. Yeah, it's a bit weird. But that does change to damage over time? So it does an initial heal, but then it would do, it's a dot. So just one of the morphs would do damage. Get rid of the annoying bear. Nah, the Winged Twilight's are worse. For sure. Crystallized Shield. I like this skill. Fix numerous visual areas. Yeah, areas. Fix an issue where the shield could fail to grant its full value. my god. Facing an issue where the third projectile would fail to visually appear. Projectiles. Frozen armor. Increase the amount of armor granted from the passive. Oh, extra armor. Nice. Increase the duration of the morphs. 30 seconds. Impaling shards. Useless in PvP. This ability and its morphs now tick every 2 seconds. Increase the cost. Decrease the damage. Blah, 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 blah. Weapon. Oh my god. We're like halfway through. This is ridiculous. I'm going to have to take a quick break. Let's make the bear smaller. Bow. Volley. This ability morphs now lasts 20 seconds. Increase the damage per tick. Endless Hail. This morph now increases duration of the effect by 10 seconds. Poison Arrow. Last 20 seconds. Poison Inject. Increase the execute scaling. Oh, extra execute. Volley's here. Volley. I don't know. It just had the normal AoE changes that everyone's getting. Wall of Elements. This ability in its morphs now deal damage every 2 seconds over 20 seconds. Increase the damage. This morph now increases the duration of the effects by 10 seconds. Already a very strong skill. Safe as well. Right, that's the one you just slam your bow down and then you stand back and it kills everyone. Takes DK leaps off guard. Not many people are using it for that, I think, though, Jid. Yeah, bow's pretty weak. Bow needs something. Bow needs something. It needs to remove snipe as a skill and do something else. Its ability and the destructive reach version now lasts for 20 seconds. Reduced. See, this reduces the damage per tick. Where this just increases the damage per tick. Oh, but it still ticks every 1 second. Does it? I don't fucking know. I think it does. Okay. Oh, my brain. Yeah, Frost Clench. Don't even know. Don't use stuffs. I'm not a coward who stands back and fights. Flurry. This ability's morph now hits 4 times rather than 5 times. Does it have a new animation as well? Flurry is like jabs. Got a new animation. It's done they've done exactly the same as what they did to jabs. Jabs hits 3 times instead of 4, but it happens over 800 ms instead of 1000. Now this hits 4 times instead of 5. Oh no, wait, it slowed it down. It used to be over 600 ms and now it's 800, but it does 1 less hit but lasts 200 ms longer. What? That animation probably looks completely different. Rather than doing a stupid stabbing move, you actually swing your weapons and smack the enemy. Really? Does it look cool? I want to see it. Rapid Strikes. This morph now increases the damage done. Is this going to be better than jabs? Is this what they meant? When they wanted different options for the Templar? Reduce the cost? Twin Slashes. This ability in his morphs now lasts 20 seconds. Decrease the damage per tick. This morph now also applies hemorrhaging from the initial hit. Oh, okay. This morph now heals anytime the ability deals damage rather than only when the damage over time deals damage. Reduce the healing coefficient to match damage over time coefficient. Okay. It's probably a pretty good change for Twin Slashes. Blade Cloak. This is the AoE one, right? 20 seconds. Increase the damage per tick. This morph now adds 10 seconds to the duration. I love this skill, but I never use it because it doesn't last long enough. Reduce the damage per tick of this morph. So you could go Quick Cloak so it lasts longer. Mind you, it lasts longer already. I might see more Blade Cloaks around. Jabs as cone and flurry single target. Yes, that is true. That is true. Jabs will still be more efficient, I think, in PvE scenarios. Terminate's a better range spammable? Yeah, it does. New animations on YouTube? We may have a look later. Flurry instead of whirling? You're always going to take AoE over, like, single target, though, right? Maybe. Resto stuff. Heals. Is there anything crazy going on here? I don't really know much about resto stuff. What they do to two-hand? Reduce the damage per tick of this morph. Is this not getting increased duration? They're just reducing the damage of Carve. Didn't this already get a nerf? Didn't this already get a nerf? Okay, Carve's fucking useless. Two-hand's my favorite weapon in the game, and it's slowly becoming less and less useful. Stampede. This morph now ticks every 2 seconds. Rather than every second over 15. Decrease the damage per tick. This ability in this morphs now deals damage every 2 seconds over 20 seconds. Increased damage. This morph now does 2 seconds over 20 seconds. Decreased damage. Why have they made Stampede... I don't get why that gets like a increased damage buff. Well, again, this is what I was saying. I was complaining earlier because this is too safe. You just like stick it down and you just, you know, move away. Whereas this, where you actually have to charge in and get yourself killed, now is even worse. In PvE, I'm talking. PvE was between 200 stuff or Wall of Elements and Stampede. Yeah, so why is Stampede... Stampede should be just as good as Wall of Elements, right? So is Stampede going to be doing less damage than Wall of Elements? Was Stampede way better? I think it... I mean, I would argue it should be a little better. Because of the risk involved with charging in rather than standing back with a staff. It's kind of idiotic that Mag now needs to run dual in two-hand because it's more damage. Yeah, that is a bit weird. Yeah. Good thing melee likes to do a bit more damage. Okay. Increase the smash damage of this passive. That's the, like, when you heavy attack, right? Yeah. Increase the splash damage. Break Blow. Increase the duration of Empower. We knew that was coming. Again, why only 5 seconds? How come Dragonite got the one that gives you 10 seconds up from 3? But everybody else only gets 5 seconds up from 3. Fix the issue where this passive arm would fail. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Soul Trap. Werewolf. His ability and his morphs now last 20 seconds. Claws of Life. Reduce the amount of healing based on damage done from this morph. This morph now causes the entire ability to apply disease status effect rather than initial. Okay. Kind of losing my brain here. Kind of not keep it up anymore. Nothing happened to Vampire. Nothing at all. Fire's Guild, reduce the cost Turn evil. Reduce the duration of fear. Oh, trap beast. Increase the duration of this ability from... Oh, yeah. Reduce damage per tick. Decouples. Okay. But this is an empower change. Does entropy give you empower? Maybe not. Oh, increase the coefficient of healing. I'm thinking of something else. Increase the duration of the snare and immobilization. Wow, they really like to... Oh, shit. I've just realized what this means. Wait, increase the base cost of this ability. God, that's expensive. Increase the duration of minor force. Now all of the snares and immobilizations are going to last twice as long. Which means in PvP, running around fucking towers and shit is going to be twice as hard to capture people because they've got snare and immobilization immunity for 4 seconds. Right? Like every skill we've seen that gives you that, they've doubled the duration. Scalding Rune good. That's gonna be horrible for chasing people. Orb. This ability, a mystic orb, but now deal damage every 2 seconds. Reduce the movement speed of these abilities. Reduce the movement speed. Okay, so they go slower. Increase the damage tick. This morph now increases your health, magic, and stamina recovery by up to 100 while it's active. And the energy orb retains its original duration, movement speed, and tick rate. Now takes 1 extra time and reduces the healing. Okay. Oh, here we go. Gal drops. This ability and its morphs now take every 2 seconds. Over 20 seconds. Increase the damage per tick. Fix an issue where the abilities fail to apply their effects when cast at long ranges. Oh. Okay. Same as everything else. Vigor. Now lasts 10 seconds. Reduce the healing per tick. Reduce the healing per tick. But you get major resolve? Wait. So, resolving vigor is the green one, right? Yeah, it's the one that everyone uses in PvP. Every stamina character. It's gonna have 39% reduced healing. Because of the 17 there and the 22 here. But it's going to give you your resistances. I did not see that coming. That is interesting. What am I using for resistance? I'm using the rune on my Templar. So if I just use Vigor instead, then I've got an extra skill so I can slot there. But that's... Maybe I could put Breath of Life there then, I guess, because I'm going to have less healing from this. Is it going to take an extra time now that it's 10 seconds up from 8? Yeah, I know I used Resolve and Vigor. Yeah, I was just wondering what I used for Major Resolve. Is that why they've stuck Major Resolve on it? Because it's called Resolving Vigor? Is that why? They're like, oh, wait, Resolving Vigor. Let's put Major Resolve on it. That's very weird. Fixed Siege Shield. Cool. Champion System. Reduce the amount of armor penetration. As of now, increases light and heavy attack damage by 4% per state. Is this going to become useful? Companions have been fixed. Oh god. Itemization and item set. Ravage health. The charge trait. Reduce the trait's maximum value. Oh, since its buff, this trait has eclipsed the niche category it was once part of, whereas beating out other traits even if you're only using 2 status effects. The new value should now have the trait much closer in power to the others, using 2 status effects with the potential to still eclipse them when using more. Grand Rejuvenation. Merciless Charge. That's a set. Blood Moon. The set now increases. Which one does Blood Moon? Oh god, I can't remember any names. What was Blood Moon, Hembrandt? I forget. Iron Blood. This set now grants major protection, major Aegis, and minor protection for 10 seconds when it activates, rather than reducing your damage taken by a unique 30%. Reduce the snare potency. Restless Charge was a thing for Stampede, but it's a set. I don't know. I don't really care either. When we did the major and minor balance past the years, balance past years past. Noble Duelist. This set now increases your damage done with light and heavy attacks against monsters by 2,110, rather than increasing their weapon spell damage scaling. Interesting. So when it tremendously boosted damage and speed for your light attacks, it helped me do 14k crits on my bare hands. There you go. Savage Werewolf. This item set now only procs off light attacks when you are within melee range of your enemy instead of light or heavy from any range. You're not in melee range with a heavy attack from Werewolf? Oh, okay. Oh, unless it was proccing it. Oh, I don't know. Savage Werewolf is the one that bleeds people, right? It's set now ticks once every 2 seconds instead of 1 to reduce situations where it could tick twice instantly. Still continues to tick instantly upon application, which is intended. The set trade secret of proccing off each light or heavy attack instantly, while intentional, has created situations where it can produce some pretty oppressive result. Offensive. Okay. Bye-bye, Savage Werewolf. It was pretty strong, I think, right? Sergeant's Mail has been reworked to now grant you a stack of Sergeant's Focus for 5 seconds whenever you deal damage to a heavy attack, increasing the damage of your heavy attack. Sweet. Undaunted Infiltrator. These sets now increase your damage done with heavy attacks against monsters, rather than increasing the weapon. Okay. I was going to try that on a werewolf, but I never did get round to it. Uh-oh, we're on Oakensol. Right, I'm going to be right back quick. I'm going to take a breather. I'm going to take a 5-minute break. Yeah, these patch notes are long. We're going to get into some of the set stuff. I think we're nearing the end. But I just need to cool off a little bit. Not because I'm angry, but because I'm physically melting. Thank you for watching so far. Thank you for being here, everybody. If you're new, you can hit the follow button. And I'll be back very shortly. BRB! Hello! Hello, everybody. I'm back. Hello. Sorry, I apologize. Oh! Wrong. It's a bit warm, isn't it? Where were we? Welcome back, HP. Iced beverage. Right, we were about to get into some juicy Oakensol goodness, huh? Let's have a look, shall we? Cargada. Fix an issue where the set's damage is not properly increasing with area of effect augmenting effects. Area of effect augmenting effects. Okay, right, here we go. Okay, Oakensol. This set now grants the minor versions of Courage, Berserk, Force, Protection, Heroism, rather than the major versions. And as regards minor mending, Interesting. So they've just nuked that, really, haven't they? Hey, Captain Bulletfoot. It's a tad hot. I have aircon, but can only afford the fan mode. I'm in an attic without any fan or aircon. And yes, I'm dying. The original intent of this set was to improve accessibility of one-bar builds by providing many bonuses that you would get from running extra abilities on your back bar, and a few other name sources that may come from coordinated groups to help make up for the flexibility and specialization loss of having 5 ability choices instead of 10. While we did see the suggestions we're incorporating now, we didn't want to go too hard on the set after the heavy nerfs to the original form without some more concrete metrics and evidence, which we have gathered since Update 34 had launched. We now feel comfortable that the set will still be incredibly impactful for its target audience in a much more balanced way. I think they have nuked that, and I think it is a bit of a shame. Hey Nightowl, how you doing? I think the only reason that got a nerf, I mean, it was very strong. It was very strong. The only, this is the thing. The only times a set will get a nerf is when too many people are using it, whether it's good or bad. Most people will use a set because it's good, right? But like, you'll use a set that's okay, but if you pair it with a different set, it then becomes OP, and then too many people are using that, it becomes the must-have, and then they've got to nerf it. Which, you know, Oakensoul became a must-have because of just how many buffs it gave you. Should be worse than 2-bar builds. No, it should be even. It should be even to 2-bar builds. Right? Maybe it will be now. I think it was... Nuke this, nuke that, yeah. Has a different meaning. It has been nerfed, yes. Hello, I'm a Sork main, should I be worried? Sork's got hit the hardest, yes. And it's a damn shame. Should have seen that coming, the must-have. People are exploiting PvP. Yeah, that's the problem. Like, you're never... It's such a shame, but like, because it was added for accessibility to help people play the game, but then it just gets picked up by, you know, you can't blame them. You can't blame the people for picking it up because it makes you so much stronger. And then it, you know, it gets to a point where it starts becoming game breaking, and then they've got to nerf it because, you know, what else can they do? But then it affects the people who struggle with bar swapping. Again, guys, it's not about effort. It's about accessibility and helping people with disabilities who might struggle with bar swapping. Which a large portion of this community does have, because, you know, they're drawn to ESO because it is so good at accessibility. So, you know, it draws in players who otherwise are, you know, like they find other MMOs impossible to play. So they'll come play ESO. And then, sadly, sets that help them then get nerfed. I'm wondering if something different could have been done. Maybe it would be okay. Maybe I would have kept, like, major protection, maybe. Like, I would have kept 1 or 2 of the majors. I wouldn't have gone that hard on it. And this is what I was talking about earlier. There's always too many, like, whenever they make changes, it's always too big for me. Like, right? I'm just like, tweak it a little bit. like, nerf it like 5% instead of like the 40% or whatever. Then see how it's doing. And then if it's still too strong, do a little bit more. But I don't think that's the way game development works, right? They can't just keep pushing out these changes every week with minimal changes, you know. Because people got to re-download updates, and, you know, there's so much more to it than that. Yeah, I heard people like Oaken Soul Nightblades in PvP were a bit of a menace, I think. Even like something like Capotano causes the issue with bar swapping. Hey, August. It's one reason I've stuck with over Final Fantasy 14. Exactly, right? Yeah. I say again, ESO has a amazing combat system that really draws in high level PvP players, but that's not the direction ESO want to go with it. So, you know, it causes division between the player base. Which sucks. But I don't know what more. I don't know what more you could do with it. Maybe I don't know. Was it like there a different solution maybe rather than changing that ring? There does have to be something to be said as well about people buying High Isle specifically for Oaken Soul and then they nerf it. That's not unique to ESO though, that's every goddamn game. Cinemythic item, nowhere else in the game can you get all the miners in one piece of gear, and to slow power creep making in miners versus mages still allows for accessibility. Yeah, I still think that's going to be okay actually. I forgot they added miner medding, so that's increased healing. They may have done an okay job with that. Like, I think less top-end PvPers are going to be using it. But people who struggle with bar swapping are still, of course, going to be using it because they struggle with bar swapping. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how it does now. To turn the buffs to minor versions with PvP. See, this is another conversation about whether armor sets should do different things in PvE and PvE, and I think they should. And they've shown it's possible by having new proc set campaigns, right? So they've shown that, you know, from a server coding standpoint, they can make things do different things in different places, or I guess just make them inactive. I don't know. Or maybe if it was just like, hey, this gives you major whatever, but they don't work in PvP. You know? Like, these major buffs do not work in PvP. So you can have an accessibility option for the rest of the game, but it's not PvP. Find something else to help people in PvP. Did have higher. Now the other changes to speed. People will need Sigic for PvP. Yeah. Goddamn Sigic story. Yeah. What's now some makes it even more broken. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking about now. Like how I could use that with some major buffs. See people making that a thing for ball groups, yeah. Few healers dropping all the mages. It's probably gonna happen. It's never gonna be perfect though, is it? It's never gonna... Again, it's finding the balance between making content for top-end PvPers and making content that's accessible for everybody. Which is why they're trying to lower the ceiling, because if people are doing a closer amount of DPS, they can make content for everyone rather than, you know, having this giant disparity. We knew it was coming though. We knew Oaken Soul was gonna get some changes. Hey Crimson, what's up? Eyo, how you doing? What do you think of the new dungeon set that grants my major force? I can't remember it. This one, when you deal damage with a light heavy attack, grant you a stack of remorselessness for 5 seconds, up to 5 stacks, once every 0.5 seconds. Well, you have 5 stacks. See, I don't think sets like this help accessibility, where it's just like, if you do this and this, then it grants this, and then when you have this, this happens. Like, I don't think these sets are good for helping people figure out how to work out a rotation. It's too much. While at 5 stack, increase your crit damage by 20%. That'd be very strong. Crit damage gets capped though now, right? Doesn't it? And allies get minor force. Don't you already have like a lot of... See, I don't know anything about PvE. Don't you already have a lot of crit damage going on, and then... It's 150%, right? It does sound really strong. Yeah, I'm definitely a PvPer though, so I'm not the one to ask about that. But it looks like it would be pretty strong. It's so hot, Crimson, right? I'm dying. You may see the lighting has changed as I opened my window finally. Right, Dark Convergence increased the cooldown of the set to 25 seconds up for 15. Yay! Get fucked, Dark Convergence. Get out of my PvP. God, I hate this set so much. Absolutely despise it. Well, mind you, ball groups will be coming back. Oh, is it 125? Yeah, 150%. Yeah. So you start at 75. Oh, I don't know. What up, DJ? About the same. I think you're not too bad. It's just some decreased healing, I think. Horodgar, this set can no longer be blocked. You could block that? Wait, I thought that was the set that goes off when you stun them. How could you block that? Oh well. Plague Break. Uh-oh. This set now has a cooldown of 20 seconds per target, rather than only against targets that do not already have a dot on them. This set can now proc on multiple enemies from a singular attack. Interesting. Reduce the damage over time approximately by 48%, but this damage can now critically strike as it does not have ingrained modifiers. Increase the damage of the explosion by 3%. Damage was... Oh, that's a bit of a nerf, I think, isn't it? The set is being run in far too many situations outside its target audience. The set was made to punish groups that are stacking purges in tight groups, but due to the current nature of the set, it's punishing those who aren't using a cleanse either as a dot is... As the dot is either... Blah, blah, blah. As the dot is dealing sizable damage and has no downtime. With the cooldown window, we hope to introduce more counterplay to the set by giving a window of safety from becoming 20 seconds until you can... Ooh, okay. So you can attack people every 20 seconds to put a dot on them, but it can hit multiple people from a singular attack. Interesting. Yeah, it was intended as, yeah, this and Dark Convergence are both intended as a ball group buster, but I mean, I run it on my solo PvP Templar who is not destroying ball groups at all, because it's very strong. It does feel like these are now not going to be used as often, and therefore ball groups will be making a comeback. But who knows? Reliquin, fix an issue where the set's visuals were not appearing. Oh no. Oh yeah! Increased XP granted from killing monsters and player characters in Cyrodiil. You can now farm your friends for XP. Increased XP granted from completing quests. Nice. 2 guards of Bruma Quartermasters will no longer be buried up to their necks in snow. It's good to know. I use Plague Break on my Stamplar on occasion AGP. Yeah, it's great for PvE as well. Like, everything just explodes. When turn on my PC, if I do, my room go up a few degrees. Yeah, it's keep it off fort. Do yourself a favor. Increase the monster density in the Ebonheart level 1, level 2, and Aldemary level 1 sewer areas. More monsters in the sewers? Daggerfall didn't need any. Apparently there was plenty in Daggerfall. Fix an issue where faction guards at Imperial City control points would attack fleeing Imperial citizens. Audio! Yay! Yes, stuff. Are we pretty much done? Fixing this. Is there anything else crazy going on? Fix the crash that would occur when using Enchanted Station. Catch it, Lady Ganon! UI fixes. I think we're done. Well. What do we think then? Most people aren't a fan, I've heard. I think that what most people are talking about is it's reducing a lot of damage across the board. And it sounds like ZeniMax have done that to increase accessibility, but everyone's like, well, it doesn't increase accessibility at all. But I think the point they're trying to make is they're just trying to reduce the differences in DPS so they can make it's easier for them to make content between a DPS level. Like if lower players are doing 40k DPS and higher players are doing 140k DPS, but now those higher players are only doing, you know, because they're expertly light weaving and stuff, they're now only doing 100k, and then the bottom players have gone down a little bit because, you know, they were light weaving sometimes, but it doesn't affect them huge. So there's a less of a window of player base, so therefore they can create content that's easier. I think the point is it's not good for accessibility now, but I think further down the line with more changes, that's when the accessibility will start coming in. I think that's what they're going for. Like, this is setting the foundation for future stuff going on, which is why there's so many changes, and then hopefully later on I think Sork has been destroyed. I do think Sork got a bit wrecked. Yeah, because like light weaving is still going to be a thing. You should still be light weaving if you want the most DPS. I think they need a tutorial for light weaving. Update was the final nail in the coffin. Max Exodus. Hello Kitty Online. I'd pay that. Full-time Hello Kitty streamer. Yeah, I think the problem is it doesn't really help players at the moment, because those who are already struggling to do content are still going to be struggling to do content. They're still going to be struggling to do those vet dungeons and vet trials, even if now their rotations are going to be easier to manage. But yes, I think overall it's just setting up for the future. I think that's all they're doing. Because yeah, like I said, they have a really cool combat system that appeals to top level PvPers, but that's not the direction they want to take the game. They want it as accessible as possible. So they're putting in the foundations to do that. They want a living, breathing world where you can go around and look at all the stuff and it's really cool and immersive. They don't want a competitive PvP game, even if they've got a really cool competitive PvP system.
It's just the direction they want to go with it. And that's very cool. But yeah, there you go. That's the end of my patch notes summary. Drop the alert for Hello Kitty. Here you go. Here you go. DJ, have you seen my new alert? We did it, everybody. We got through it.